Welcome to Connected Conversations. I'm really grateful that you're here and sharing your time. If you like the conversation that you hear, please like it and share. I'm Emma from Unique Phoenix. I'm a soul coach, energy healer, well-being guide, and an unapologetic, curious soul. Connected Conversations is here to bring love, healing, and connection to our everyday lives through open and authentic conversations. Every single conversation, I'm privileged to interview women and men in our communities that are here being their authentic selves, sharing their unique talents with the world around them. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and then we can get to know them and what they offer much better.
So hi everyone, my name is Emily Pettigrew from All Things Divine. I like to call myself an inner peace warrior because I like to continuously work with people and women who are dedicated to their own personal growth because I know what it's like to feel lost, to not feel good enough. And so by coaching them and guiding them on how to reconnect with themselves and empower themselves, just so that they can feel amazing in this world, that they know that they are here for a bigger purpose. And I do this through holistic trainings, through products and services, and through coaching. So, hi.
Hi, and welcome to Connected Conversations, which are here to bring healing, love, connection to our everyday lives through authentic and open conversations. And I am sharing time with Emily Pettigrew today, who is a master trainer and practitioner of Reiki and Seichim. If I've got that wrong, you're going to pronounce that, you're going to tell me. Massage therapist and crystal jewellery maker with so many more tools and talents to help her clients think, feel and be divine. She offers women spiritual and personal development through holistic education, product and services, and I'm super excited. Emily and I have known each other for quite a few years now through business, and just, understood that there was a deeper connection there just because of the work that we both do and our own development as well. So thank you so much for sharing your time and being here today. I'm really excited.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's so nice just to have good chats,
Absolutely. And I know from the feedback that I'm getting from, conversations is that, these are conversations people want to have. And so I always encourage, if something's come up for you here, go and have a conversation with someone else, go and bring the topic to them or the question or whatever it is. So I want to start today with your background, and how did you get into this? Like, has this always been your focus? Like,
No, not at all. Well, like when I was in high school, whenever we did trips up to the city or we would always source out the jewelry places, the crystal places, the little Indian places with the incense and just...
Yeah, totally been there, yep.
Just going to go over here and spend hours and hours in there. So I suppose I was always drawn to it, but not really understanding why. And then it just kind of, I got on with life. I got on with partying. I got on with,
Oh yeah,
all that 3D stuff. Which, is awesome. We need to do that. And then when I was pregnant with my first, for some reason, I was just drawn to a crystal shop up in Queensland, and I needed amethyst.
Yeah.
What? I was like, oh yeah, that's really pretty. And you kind of read the description. It's like, helps with sleeping and it's protecting and blah, 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 blah. So I actually, I've always kind of been creative. So I made a mobile for him that had the amethyst kind of drops as well. So he was, in an amethyst bubble while he was sleeping.
Wow, I love that. Yeah, I can relate because I was always into the hippie shops and all that kind of stuff, and then life kind of took over, and then, you know, found my way back there,
Yeah.
and was just kind of like, and kids was one of those peaks for me where I really dropped back in, where I thought there's got to be other ways to do this, like to help babies and to do all this stuff, and it just, so then,
Yeah.
okay, so that's how you sort of started on the path of your own personal interest.
Yeah.
And then how did it keep going?
So I kept going because my life was shit.
Yeah, okay.
You know, I had the 2 kids. I was living up in Queensland, had great friends. But my partnership was, you know, whatever. And I didn't feel good.
Yeah.
I didn't feel good about myself. You know, and on the outside, I'd be all like, oh, everything's great. I'm so happy and wonderful.
Big, bold, bright and shiny. That was me too. I was like, I am so fine. Fuck off, I was. Not fine at all, actually.
No.
Yeah.
No. So, and you know, and then, you know, the cracks within that relationship just grew deeper and deeper, and we ended up moving back to Melbourne, because that's where we both sort of grew up, and the kids were young. I think my eldest was 4 and my youngest was 2, and I just from, it was almost within the week that we got back, I went to see a clairvoyant, and, you know, she picked up on all the crap, and it's like, I was so lost though. I was like, well, what do I do? How do I better myself? How can I need someone to guide me. I didn't know what questions to ask for what answers I wanted, and so it just kind of, and then it must have been a few years later, I saw this most amazing medium who then said, you know, well, you're quite spiritual and psychic and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? And I said, well, what do I do? Who do I look up in the yellow pages? Like,
Yeah.
don't know.
Spiritual guru guide. Wasn't there. Yeah.
Didn't even know who I was looking for. Had no idea what they were called, anything. And she gave me a couple of numbers, and one sort of answered, and I started then spiritual development classes, and the language and the exercises and stuff, I just went, oh my God, that's what that is. I've experienced, oh, right. So it kind of started, you know, my life kind of started making a bit more sense. And as everyone knows, you know, when you're working in the healing, you know, modalities or psychic or whatever, you need to trust yourself. And I just did not.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Can I want to keep going, but I want to pause on that because absolutely you need to have walked a path, right, in order to be a guide and in order to be a healer. You have to have walked that path.
Yeah.
You know, I've definitely worked with people in different professions that I can see are just trained but not experienced. And so, you know, there's a complete difference, isn't there? And, you know, like when I was in my own start of my own personal journey, I didn't know the difference because I didn't know it within myself. But I love that. So, you know, I love that you're like, well, who can I go to? Give me all the answers. And now you're the person that says I can actually do it, because the fact that you had to guide yourself through it, you know, gives you the greatest weight. And along the way, you know, as we all do, we pick up modalities, and, you know, like I was picking up stuff well before I even started my own business and was doing this. So I love that, because what you were looking for back then, you've become.
Yeah.
You're that person in the yellow pages. There she is. Oh, there we go. There's my guide. I love it. I mean, I'm saying it jokingly, but really that's, you know, that's a reality for most of us working in this field. You have to have walked the path. Otherwise you cannot be of greater service.
No. No, absolutely. And and I've been, I've been in some pretty dark places.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I used to drink a lot, like drink so much that I would pass out on the couch I didn't want to have to deal with life, didn't want to have to deal with the fact that I was in this relationship, which was not at the least, it was just didn't fulfill any, most part of me. I mean, still grateful that I had the amazing children and everything, but I was so empty, like I was dead inside.
Yeah, I absolutely can appreciate that. Yeah.
And it's like, I just felt lost. I didn't know what my purpose was. I just didn't know anything. But there was something at the back just going, there's something, you're here for a reason. And so I just got curious about that and gone, I just need to source everything, read everything, and I just blundered my way through to come,
Oh, can I just say, like, haven't we all fucking blundered our way through it? Like, hit and miss sometimes. But I hear what you're saying, and it's so, for any entrepreneur and any business owner, that is, regardless of healing space or otherwise, when you are in service, that absolutely is the path of, it's just of curiosity, like,
yeah.
follow that curious, so because hence why I do this podcast, because it's just filling my curiosity.
Yeah.
Like I go, oh, I'm going to have a chat with that person, but what comes out of it is amazing. And I really think that's such an important message, is just follow your curiosity, like.
Absolutely. And a lot of the work that I do now is reconnecting with the self, because that has been my biggest takeaway from all of these years, is because for so long, and I mean, from a kid, we're taught to look for outside sources to make us happy, whether it's products, whether it's people, whether it's, I need this person to love me for me to be able to be whole or worthy or whatever, and doing those spiritual development classes and the women's circles, that was just like, without even knowing it, I started to love myself. I started to trust myself. And I remember the first time, and it was probably a couple of years after I'd been doing Circle, that I was having a conversation with someone, and I said, well, because I trust myself in that. And I just went, oh my God, I just said that. I had to ring up my teacher and go, oh my God, I just said that I trusted myself. And she's like, ah.
Yeah. It's almost like that first time that, I had a really strong boundary. I can relate. Yeah. And so for anyone listening, watching, when you have those moments of just complete certainty and complete confidence, where you're just like, no, that's how I feel about that.
I know, but I do want to assure people too that I still do have some I still
of course,
get out of self-doubt. It's not like,
I don't know anyone working in this field that's
no.
a healer, a coach, a guide, a mentor that could possibly, if anyone, like, that would make me walk away, because if they're not experiencing tension and being challenged, then I would be like, how, like, I want someone that's still challenging themselves, because then I know I'm going to be led really well, like I'm going to be guided really well. That's not the right word, but then you are an amazing guide if you're still like, well, I'm still going deeper into myself. The layers might be, like, when you get to it, I think when you get to our level of, emotional intelligence and awareness, the layers that you get to, you're like, really? I do. There's times when I go, wow, that's actually having an impact on me. Well, look at that.
I know. And that's the thing, isn't it? We've got to always be open for the lessons and not ever block ourselves off to, oh my God, I've dealt with that before. No, it can't be that. It's got to be something else. Because it's like, sister. Take another look. We're just a little bit deeper.
Yeah, and for me now, I get excited when that happens, because I think, I'm always surprised, because I think, wow, okay, there's another layer to that. Here we go. And like what you said, it's easy to ignore it and go, oh. So, okay, God, this has been amazing already. I love it. And of course, I knew it would be though. So I want to then, so what was your progression in terms of career-wise? Did you start, because I know you do massage. So where did you start?
So, no, I actually started, so through this beautiful development circle, my teacher would just always put out the courses and stuff. So she taught Reiki and Seichim. So Reiki.
I'm so happy I pronounced that properly with that. I was like,
hey, chick for you, girlfriend.
thanks.
She teaches that together. So Seichim is very similar. It's kind of like a branch of Reiki, but it brings in that gorgeous goddess of Kuan Yin, who's all about compassion.
Kuan Yin. She's got my heart, girlfriend.
And Sekhmet as well, which is an warrior.
Yeah.
At the lioness head. So she's like, you know, she's strong, but she's nurturing and as well, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
So she was doing training. So I was like, yeah, why not? I'll do that. I think because at that moment I was just saying yes to yes. I wanted the tools for myself to know how to interact with the world, basically, and to empower myself. So, so I did that, ended up doing the masters with her as well in that. And that was kind of like the stepping stone. So from there I did, oh God, it's like how far back do you go? I did crystal courses, I did singing bowl courses, I did angel courses, and then, you know, NLP, matrix therapy, timeline therapy, essential oil. Like, it's just, so over the last, 15 years, I've just gone, yep. Not really knowing how it was all going to come together. And for a long, long time as well, I felt like I wanted to do massage. And this is another point for people, trust your intuition, because I had outside people going, you just need to concentrate on one thing at a time, don't bring too much into it. So I was like, okay, well, I won't. So anyway, I think it was 5 years ago now, I ended up doing Lomi massage. Which is absolutely divine. It's nurturing, it's a warm oil, and it just works beautifully with the energy work that I do. And so, I was sort of offering individual things. You either had the Reiki or the energy work, you either had the Lomi. And then it was probably about 3 years ago, I just went, what am I doing? All this stuff is complementary. So, so now in the treatment room, you get everything. So I use the bowls, I use the crystals, I do the Lomi, I do the energetic work, I do the coaching, I do, the mentoring. I'm studying kinesiology at the moment because, why not? And that'll come in as well, because we're not just one thing. We're such complex beings that we need to address all of it. The physical touch and working with the meridians with the Lomi is beautiful. And then the energetic work and the music and it's just, it's divine.
I love it. And it's so true, because I definitely kept the healing and coaching separate for such a long time. And it's been over the past couple of years, and, channeling has come up for me as well. And so it's just all, like coaching for me will always, that guidance is always going to be my jam. However, I do bring, the healing comes into it, and all that stuff. And then it's just supersets it, it's just.
I know. And there's so much healing that gets done in the coaching sessions as well, like talking about it as well. Because quite often we will spend 15 minutes to half an hour talking stuff through, and then I can get you on the table and clear it energetically, clear it physically, and working with that as well. And then, I've started running women's circles this year, and just coming together. You run them too, Em, and when we come together, and so we have an ongoing group that's every Monday night, and I'm opening up a Tuesday morning one as well. So it's the same group of people. So you have that trust. You have that knowledge of what that person's going through for that next week or whatever, and you can come back every week and you can vent and you can cry and you can laugh and you can support and love. Like, it's just amazing. It's
Yeah.
connecting you with you, having that space to actually, the amount of times that people go, oh my God, I had no idea I was going to talk about that. Like, I didn't want to talk about that, but it has come up. So it's like, that's in itself, the acknowledgement of the crap that we're going through can be such a beautiful release and healing as well.
Yeah, often, thankfully my clients know me and people get to know me, but I'll often get excited when, someone cries and I just go, oh, that is so good. And you can see them, for the first time that it happens, they're looking at you like, what do you mean? And I'm like, it's good. Your body's releasing. We've hit a point where your body goes, okay, I can let go.
Yeah.
And and to give them permission to go, it's okay sometimes just to have random cries,
God.
My weirdest and favorite ones though are when I'm doing a workout. I don't know why, but every now and again when I'm doing a workout, suddenly I'll just have to pause and be like, I'm going to cry right now. And then I'll, okay, right. So it's like my body's held a bit of tension. How good is that?
I know. And you're allowing, giving it permission, like it's the body's divine wisdom. Like I love it when people honor that and nurture it and encourage that.
Okay, so this leads me into a good question then, because why is your work so important then? Why is allowing divine body wisdom so important? I know you're like, how long do we actually... Because we don't want to. I don't want to shrink the answer down. But for people listening and watching, just know that is a fucking large question that I've just asked. It's something that I do in my work, but I really want to hear, where you come from and why it's so important in the work that you do.
Well, it's not just important in the work that I do. I think it's important for everyone in society today.
Why?
To do because, well, especially, with all the crap that's gone on in the last couple of years, and, the godsend out of that is that people have actually were forced to stop and, I don't know, listen to themselves.
Yeah, take a look around. I found a lot of people were just like,
oh my God.
Oh, hang on, is that what my life looks like when I'm not in it?
Yeah.
Do I actually want to be in that?
Yeah. And I had so many clients that would come and they'd be like, do you know what I've realized? I hate my job, or I love my job, but I hate driving that distance. Or I had one client that she was very social. She would have parties all the time and she loved it. She loved the setting up. She loved the social side of stuff and all that sort of, she thrived in it. But then obviously when all lockdowns happened in Melbourne, which went on forever.
Never-ending lockdowns.
Oh my God. But she goes, oh my God, I never knew that I would enjoy being at home with my family, quiet time, board games, and it just brought me so much happiness. I like the parties too, but oh my God, like I can get that with this.
Balance. Yeah.
Simplicity as well, and it's just, and it was honoring herself. Because she goes, I don't feel exhausted anymore. And so what was your question?
Oh, no, because you are actually answering it. What's the importance of becoming, like getting in touch with your, your body of wisdom?
Yeah, because we know ourselves so much better than anybody else. So who is anybody else to tell us what we're worth, to tell us, how we need to live, what we need to do, it's
yeah,
really hard to put into words. But when we unlearn all the adverts and all the social conditioning which, I mean, in a way, they control our lives.
Not in a way, they do. Without awareness,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
do. And I
absolutely.
don't know about you, I still have moments where I go, oh, I know I just made a decision actually that I don't want to make anymore, but I know why I made it. And
Yeah,
that, holy cow, was not actually mine. Like, it was mine, it felt like mine. But when I
yeah,
looked at why I was making it,
yeah,
that had nothing to do with me,
yeah.
actually. So really interesting,
Yeah.
really interesting when you just sit back and go, oh,
Because
why? Mm.
we do what we've always done because it's easy. We know it. We might not love it, but we know it, so we don't have to think
Mm.
about it. And it's just, it's always, yeah, we've always done it. So,
Can I ask a question then? What does, because I feel, yeah, what does convenience do to your life then? Because what, for me, that's, I feel like what you're saying is we
yeah,
do things because they're convenient, because they're easy, because we don't really have to think about it.
yeah,
And they're all great things to have
yeah.
in your life. I
But it's
mean,
also safe because you know the outcome, even if it doesn't necessarily spark you know, your soul. But it's safe, you know it. There's no, oh my God, what if I fuck up?
ego, yeah.
What if I do this? What if I do that? Oh my God, what if it doesn't work? What if it does da, 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 da? It's like, okay, they're too hard. So for example, so me staying in the relationship with the kid's dad, it was like, I didn't want to be there for so, so long. But it was like, how am I going to do this by myself?
Mm.
Financially, I've got to run a household by myself. I've got no support. I've got no da da da, like all this stuff. And then one day I just went, do you know what? It's hard, but this is hard too.
Mm.
So it's a matter of choosing your hard.
I love that. Because life is not easy.
No.
So just, so I remember reading it once, someone like, just choose what you want to give a fuck about.
Yeah.
Choose, choose the chat, because everything is going to feel like a challenge to you. So,
Especially if it's new and we've never done it before.
mm,
Like it is. It's going to be
yeah.
holy shit.
Well, the ego hates change, doesn't like it at all. So the minute that, you know, you challenge it and say, we're going to change some stuff, the ego will have its own little fuckery and do its own little stuff. And you'll think, oh no, but I'm keeping myself the same and I don't really want that change. In fact, that's actually your ego telling you, don't do it, because we don't know what to do about that.
Yeah. We don't know how to keep you alive in this situation because we haven't done it before.
And actually, it's got nothing to do with keeping you alive. I mean, that's probably the other thing that our modern world sadly has given us, is there's so much out there that, you know, like even standing up and fronting and talking in front of people creates some sort of a fear in us.
Yeah.
And then we've got to keep, we're not unsafe.
No.
Our egos are unsafe.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
I know. So that was like gold. Choose your hard. I was like, oh my God, because this hard, I know, I hate being with their father. But this, I could feel, oh my God, like that potential. And I could choose what I let into my life and what I gave out to my life. Whereas in this yucky hard, I couldn't.
mm,
I felt I couldn't.
yeah.
Whereas this was just like, oh my God, scared, of course, beyond belief, and all that egotistical stuff of, oh my God, I'm letting everyone down and blah, 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 blah. But I can absolutely guarantee you that I am such a better person now than I was back then, and a better mother and a better, you know, friend, because I don't have this shadow of crap over, you know, over my soul.
Yeah, I love that. I love it. And so you're right, we have to choose
Yeah.
the inconvenience. We
Yeah.
have to choose which thing we want to do that challenges us, that makes it hard, that
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
there's
yeah.
so much wisdom comes out of doing something brand new as well.
And I don't know about you, but I love the wisdom that comes out of me making huge mistakes.
That's the best wisdom ever. Whoops, that
Yeah.
didn't work. Okay.
I don't know what happened. I don't know who the cartoon character is, but there's a cartoon character that goes, I didn't do it.
Oh.
I don't know what movie that's from, but it cracks me up every time I hear it. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
And, you know, like it's almost like that. You go, ooh, I didn't do that. No, that didn't happen. So, yeah, I think you're right, though. And I think more and more people are starting to understand that there's no way to find balance without figuring out what hard you want to have in your life, because
And you've got to, and again, coming back to know, like being connected with the self, like you've got to know what your own boundaries are. And you've got to honor that, and you've got to actually go, okay, well, so I do this beautiful workshop and I call it the ultimate feeling goal. So it's like a vision board thing, but I concentrate on having what's the ultimate feeling that you want to feel. Joy, bliss, freedom, abundance, whatever. And so, and I, you know, talk to this in pretty much everything because I just think it's gold. So whenever you've got this ultimate feeling, you can then make choices around that. If you have these, so which one's going to get me to this bliss that I want to feel? This one is. Okay, cool. I'm going to do that. This, even, I remember the other day I was at a market with my mum and she was annoyed that there was only one coffee place at the market. So she's like, wow, there's only one coffee, gotta go to Stain Klein, blah, 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 all this. And I went, Mum, what can you do about it? So you can choose to have a bitch and a moan or whatever, or you can just go, oh, I want a coffee, I'm just going to stand in line.
yeah.
So for me, like my ultimate goal is the inner peace, yeah, because it's going to come and go all the time. And so that's kind of my north, what is it, that north node thing. And so in moments like that, and it's not to say that I don't have tanties, because I really do, and I love them, but I allow myself, you know, I'm going to have a tanty and then it's done. I'm not going to bitch and moan about it for like a week. So it's giving yourself to still be permission, to have that permission to be angry, to be sad or whatever, but it's don't unpack and live there. Remember what your true north is and then come back to that.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, look, I get excited to stand, not that I want to stand in lines all the time. Sometimes I'll see a line and be like, no, that's not for me right now.
Yeah.
I don't want to stand in line for that.
Just to be still and come, just gather all your energy back and go, okay. No.
But if I'm in a line and I stand there, I mean, 9 times out, I don't know about you, but I end up talking to people and having conversation and having a laugh because I think, well, I'm here now and
yeah,
I'm just going to enjoy. I mean, enjoyment is definitely and feeling good is definitely part of my daily. What is my best feel good decision around this? So whether it's just choosing to have a laugh or, you know, I think I've stood in lines before where I've actually looked around and gone, yeah, we're all standing in line for this. Like, I cannot believe I'm standing in a line waiting for whatever it was. It was something. And then someone else would go, I know. And I'm just like, look, we're here now. We have a laugh and then we get to the end and, look, we're here. I just think, Jesus.
Yeah. And sometimes I think life puts us in those situations to make us stop.
Oh,
because
hello, last 2 years. Yep.
It's like, hang on a second. You're always in the future, like, you know, you're always at the next thing you've got to do where just stop. So like things like traffic lights and queues and that sort of thing, I always go, just think of them as a gift. It's like this beautiful opportunity. You have to go, oh my God, I'm just going to do some belly breaths. Come back home. Just go, oh, okay. Cool, yeah. No, I'm okay. I'm doing okay.
Mine's yoga smile. I always think about that. Like I've had yoga instructors when you're doing it and you're in a really hard pose, they're like, and you know, they'll give you this little final instruction. And every time, I used to make me laugh, they'd be like, and now one more thing, a little smile on your face. And you're like, damn you. But that's my thing now, you know, like every time I think.
I like that.
Just like, just going to be yoga smile and focus on my breathing. And
yeah.
here we are. Oh, that is beautiful. So then what are some of the biggest challenges that you see with your clients? I mean, boundaries, I think, is boundaries one of them that's
Yeah, look, there is. And again, I think, I just keep coming back to the honoring the self, and people don't even, or people have boundaries with certain people, not with others.
yeah.
And I put my hand up because this was brought to my awareness in the last 18 months as well. So my kids are totally different. They had no boundaries. It's like, yes, 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 I'll do that. Yes, 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 yes. Until I was like, hang on a second. What the hell? I'm being treated like shit and blah, 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 blah. And it was like, but we've got to take self-responsibility. It was like, but I'm letting them treat me like shit. And okay, what do I need to do about that? So, and again, it's being okay with, like, they're gonna love you anyway.
Oh yeah, I often say that to parents when they're,
Yeah,
like when they're in that mode, and we'll be like, hang on, that you don't need to be their friend right now. They actually need you to be a parent and a guide, and they're never going to not love you unless, of course, there's some really drastic behavior. But in, the clients that I would see,
yeah,
they're just setting boundaries and being a guide and saying no. Like that's actually what they need from
yeah.
you, because then they can't learn to do it themselves unless they've had people around them that are like, no. And do you know what? Like, we don't want egotistical maniacs running out there that have just had yeses their whole lives. We
Exactly.
need people that have had a fair amount of no's, so that when they go out into the world and they get a no, one, they're resilient enough to deal with it, and two, they can take.
Personally either.
Sorry.
Well, not take it personally because it's
That's what exactly right. Like actually go, oh, it's a fair no. Fair enough. I asked. Like have them confident enough to ask questions, but take the no.
yeah,
To be able to take no. Yeah, and I can feel you on that one. I think that's probably tough for a lot of people to.
when I did the self-reflection, it was like, why am I, doing this? And it's like, well, yeah, it is that fear that he wouldn't love me, or I'm talking about my son here, that he wouldn't love me, or, there'd be, and, that goes back.
Oh,
So it was like, oh no, that's not ever going to happen. And if it does,
that's on him.
be okay with that too, because that's his stuff.
Yeah, I know. I agree with you, and I think that's really challenging because when people are in,
So challenging.
people are in, I guess, really, tough situations. It's hard to have a look at your part in it.
Yeah.
And people often say that, well, if someone's in an abusive relationship, and I'm like, look, I'm not trying to minimize any of that. And if you are and listening, please go and seek some help and seek some support. But we play a part in the lives that we have. I mean, sometimes things just happen.
Yeah.
It's not for a lesson. It's not for what it, it's just that's part of life. Things happen that we don't always love happening. But in terms of what you accept and boundaries, we definitely play a role in that.
Yeah.
And, yours is a beautiful example of allowing, like I've had to do that with certain people in my life, like really just get okay with saying no.
Yeah.
That's actually a no. And, and how it's received is really challenging. So is that part of the boundary then? Like when working with clients is getting them to understand what their boundaries are, but also helping them stay within them?
Yeah, definitely. Well, there's so much that goes with it, as you would know. I mean, it's not taking things personally and allowing that the other person to have their point of view and to understand that every single person has, multiple veils of how they perceive life. I think I saw a meme this morning, actually. It was saying, people that see the same thing don't always see the same thing.
Oh yeah, there was, because it had the faces on it, and how many faces do you see? And
Yeah, something.
yeah, and it's so true. We can all be looking at the same thing.
Or be at the same party, or, you know, in the same group.
Brother and sister or siblings.
Yeah.
Have same parents, same, but still have very different experiences.
Yes. And when you understand that, that in itself is really freeing, you know, because you just go, oh. And one, because we're not ever going to know necessarily what that experience is going to be. But in that, we can kind of, you know, we can undo that attachment and just go, oh my God, you know, well, that's what's going on for them at that moment. Not necessarily, you know, we don't have to take it personally, because I don't know what the hell is going on for them. They might have just gotten off a phone call, or might have, who knows. So yeah, that in itself is really empowering, is just to understand that everyone's walking around in their own little bubbles with their own different glasses on, and it's okay. All of it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know. Yeah, it's like when you get the message from a friend that's kind of firing at you. And, you know, you could react and go, rah, rah.
100%.
I must admit, I can sit back now and think, whoa, what is happening in their day? And so sometimes I won't even answer, or I'll just get back to them and be like, you know, almost dot point. This is what's happening. This is da-da-da.
Yeah.
And not you're not doing it, just hand them the information. And sometimes, you know, I had an experience, someone fired back at me again. Well, this is what I do, so why can't you do this? A couple of weeks ago it was. And I just came back again and said, you know, I'll resend it to you when I'm home and not at school, you know, wherever I was. Or no, I don't know where I was. I was at an appointment. I said, I'll resend it to you when I'm at my computer again.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, huh. They came back an hour later and said, yeah, it's definitely having a shit morning. And I went, and I just sent back going, so much love for you. I kind of picked up on that. Oh, good.
Yeah.
We're okay.
Yeah, see? We just never know. And this is, you know, we just need to come from our love and our you know, our heart space.
So what are some of the biggest challenges for women to not be coming from their heart space?
Because of the expectation of other people.
Them having expectations from other people?
Both.
Ah, okay.
Both. You know, and again, we come back to society that, you know, the mum's got to, you know, be a wonder mum, and they've got to have fresh fruit in their lunches all the time and homemade stuff and cooked meals. But, you know, now we have to work as well, and the house is going to be tidy, and, you know, I've got to be this kind of persona around this group of friends or whatever. It's just like, oh my God.
It's a lot to keep up with, I find. I don't. I'm really bad at it. I'm just as is, as I am.
But I grew up with a mum who was very much like that, you know.
Oh.
Yeah, we went to, we went to, you know, top of the range schools, had no money. But we couldn't be seen at a high school. We had to be at a private school.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. You know, and when my mum and dad were having issues and, you know, separated, it was like, oh my God, I can't be a divorced, you know, I can't be a separated woman. So, you know, I grew up with that, and not that I've ever, well, there's probably parts of me that have taken that on. But yeah, I mean, I almost went out of my way to be not in the mainstream, you know, fashion and all that sort of stuff. You know, we'd had free dress days and people would come in their country road and all that sort of stuff. I'd come in my Target, you know, tracky pants. Because I was like, nah, I'm not being someone that I'm not. Like, it just felt so... I didn't understand. I don't understand why people need to do that.
So that makes you a really good guide. I mean, I've been fairly the same, and I've had feedback from people in school that I didn't even know were just like, you just did your own thing. And I went, did I? Thank you for sharing that with me. I probably didn't feel like I was doing my own thing at the time, but
Yeah.
So then, okay, yeah, there is a lot of pressure to be a particular type, label. And I think you're right, because there's some sort of there is some sort of like checklist that as a mum, and I know that I've had to kind of move away from that, and and be like, okay, we need to have a look at things in a different way and just do what is right for us, and what feels good to us. But it is, like that showing up of, I've got to be this way, my house has to be a particular way, and I've got to say yes to everything, because then I'm like a fun, amazing mum.
I know, exactly. Yeah. But it's
yes to every sport my child wants to do. My kids have just recently been told, pick one.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to spend my time running, because we've done we've done all that. And I'm like, I don't want to do that anymore.
And I put out ages ago, we're teaching our kids to be super busy by, yes, they want to do all these sports and stuff, but where's their downtime? Like, where's their time to connect with themselves and what they're feeling and what's going on for them? And, whereas it's like, oh, I've got to go to sport, I've got to do this, I've got to go to rehearsal, I've got to go and meet this person for, down the street or whatever. So there's always these poor kids being go, 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 go.
Yeah, because we can get caught up in the busy.
Oh, God, yeah.
And it becomes almost like, I must admit over the years, and I definitely walked around with a very clear badge of honour on me, busy. I'm busy. I don't have time for that. I'm just so busy.
It's also an amazing distraction for not looking at the shit that you don't want to look at.
Oh my God, it's one of the best numbs that I find, busy, and just filling your time. Because I must admit, for me, even over the past few years and being separated, having stillness, and mind you, I was aching for it. That was one of my challenges within a marriage, is I actually never got any space. Everyone always needed something from me, so it was always that. But once I had it, I want to say to you, I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do with this. And then, you have to wade through some more layers. So I love that, because it's so true that some of our biggest challenges as women is not having boundaries.
Yeah.
Trying to live up to labels. Yeah. And having this mask and this badge of honor of, I'm busy.
Yeah. Yeah. Whereas really it's just shutting down that quiet voice to go, something's not right. Or in my case, it was like, there's something you need to change. Like, I knew what it was, but it was like, nope, God, can't look at that. I'm too busy. That's too hard. Whereas it's going, you're not happy in the relationship. Working.
But you know what I love about the universe? Because the universe then goes, I'll show you another way. If you're not going to listen that way, I've given you a little nudge. But if you're not going to listen that way, then it's going to become a push. And then you might actually fall over and hurt yourself. Like, this is all figuratively speaking here, but I mean, the universe doesn't, if you've got to learn something, and look, if anyone's listening and you're on repeat with something, find someone to work with, man. I mean, honestly, because the universe is telling you very clearly, you need to learn something in this, and we're going to keep repeating it until you stop and take a look and figure out where this is coming from, and how to move through it.
Needs to change, because that was my biggest aha moment too. Is I came into a new year and I was sitting and I was just kind of reflecting, and I went, I'm about to do the same shit I did last year and the year before, and it just like that was just like, no. And it was that year that I separated.
Yeah, that was the big thing for me. We'd been together for 18 years, and I can remember thinking, we're coming up to our anniversary, that year of coming up to it, and I was thinking, do I want to do this for the next 18?
No.
I'm pretty sure. And when the answer came up to me, I was like, it's actually a no.
Yeah. big neon
Well,
sign.
at the time, it felt like a little no, because like you, I was like, I've been in this for 18 years. I've got kids and da da da, and I didn't know how I was going to do all of that by myself. And
Yeah.
what I thought I had great boundaries.
No.
No.
And it's so funny. And I quite often refer to the frog in the boiling water when it comes to that.
What's that one?
Yeah. So, well, you've got a frog in the water, and this is to
Not
do.
really, just if anyone's listening, we're not really putting a frog in water here for anyone who's an animal. Like, we're not doing that. This is
We're
just
not,
an analogy.
an analogy, metaphor,
A
metaphor.
metaphor, thank you. Yeah, there we go.
Because things happen. It's the same with weight gain or anything. It's not like you wake up one morning and it's like bang. Oh my god, look.
You're not Santa overnight. Yeah, okay.
So it's like a gradual thing, right?
Mm,
Used to the change. You get used to it little by little by little by little by little. But then when you stop and reflect and go, 12 months ago, oh, hang on. So in the 12,
mm,
by day you can't see any difference.
yeah, okay.
And over 12 months, when you go from here to here, you go, oh, that's wow. Does that make sense? So
Yeah, no,
the
absolutely.
analogy of the
And
frog
that's,
in the boiling water is that there's a frog in the water and obviously the gas is on and stuff, but it acclimatizes to the heating water.
mm.
Heats slowly, and by the time it's boiling, it's like too late, almost. It's like, oh shit, this is not
No, no,
right.
I won't go back. Got you. I understand. I've not heard that before, but I love that
Yeah,
because it is so true. It's nourishing our bodies, like you said. Any kind of part of health. Absolutely,
yeah,
we do. We just become, and there is a point when you stop, and I often call that, refer to that as a tipping point.
yeah.
You stop at the peak, and you look down, and you go, "Oh no,
How,
oh dear, that's how I got up here." And
yeah,
actually, I want to get down because I don't want this to be the life all the time.
yeah,
So, and that's when change is really challenging.
yeah.
So, I think we're kind of answering it, but I do, I really want to get into it though, because why is it so important for women? Because we're speaking about ourselves and our own, spiritual development. Why is it important for women? Because there's going to be women out there who are listening
Yeah,
and perhaps they've reached that peak.
yeah,
Perhaps they've reached that acclimatized state where they go, oh, I don't want to acclimatize. It's gotten too hot for me now.
yeah.
So why is it so important for women to seek spiritual development?
Because it's a beautiful way for me, I love it because it's not a doctrine. It's not somebody telling you what you need to read, how you need to, or who you need to, you know, admire or anything like that. It is actually coming back home. It's listening to the self. I mean, what do you really want?
Ah,
What do you really want? And a lot of the time we get to a point where it's like, well, I don't even really know. I'm just doing the same old stuff. I'm just being a mum. I'm just surviving on a daily basis kind of stuff,
mm,
you know? So it's important because, like I said before, we are such multifaceted beings that, we can have one aspect of our life that's absolutely amazing, but we still feel shit. So it's looking at all the different parts of our life and going, oh, well, this is really good, but my business sucks. Or, my relationship's amazing, but I don't go out anywhere. Or, so it's it's the balance of everything.
mm.
Does that kind yeah.
No, I understand what you're saying because, and look, Yeah, absolutely. Because then you get to look at all different parts. You know, clients get to look at all different parts of their life and suddenly make decisions. And the decisions become internal. So they're becoming their own guide and having the ability to then actually look at it and what's leading it. Because I don't know about you, but men or women, when I work with them, when you're asking that question, they'll fire stuff. Well, I want this. Well, I want that. Why do you want that?
Yeah.
You know, and then when we keep asking the levels of it and you get down underneath, some of them are like, well, I actually don't want that.
Yeah.
I just want that because I think I've got to have that.
Exactly.
You know, like I worked with a woman once who really just was I want a relationship. That's all she wanted, and serially dated and did everything that she possibly could. I mean, she changed her body all the time and and just was a chameleon. And when she got down to it, it was actually what she wanted was a relationship with herself. And so that, you know, became really rich and juicy, and seeing her grow from there. And, you know, this is a few years ago now. And I've got to say, she's got the relationship that she wanted with herself, but she's also got a really beautiful partner now. Like, just, you know, someone, and because she stopped, not so much because she stopped looking, and she still dated and still did stuff, but put herself in it. Like, what do I want in this, rather than just as such an external view. It's the same as wanting happy, healthy children. Why?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about you, I've got teenagers.
Yeah.
They have to want that too.
Yeah.
Like, it's different when they're babies and little. I can want all that and do that. But as they get to teenagers, actually, you have to partake in this.
Yeah, well, and this is the thing, isn't it? It comes down to self-responsibility.
I'm like,
I know.
it's true though, because it's freedom.
Yeah, I know.
Because if you own your shit and someone says, here's some shit that you gave me, and you go, yeah, I totally did do that.
Yeah.
Or you'd be able to go, well, that was only a little bit of shit. I own that part of it, but the rest of it, that's yours. You know, like, you can hand people shit back to them as well.
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely. And how much better is it when we kind of, because when we can own the shit.
Yes.
Because my motto is, you know, I want to be a better person than I was yesterday. It's, you know, so it's, and enabled to do that, and enabled to be the best person that I can be, you know, to help my kids and clients and whatever myself. I actually have to know what to change. So all this, I remember having a conversation with my son, and he was about to go into a job review, and I said, well, you know, what are your flaws? What are your downfalls? He's like, well, I don't really want to talk about that because I need to focus on the positive. And I said, but the beauty of knowing where your downfall is that you can then put some steps into action to actually not make them as bad as, you know, what they are. If that makes
So when they come up, I was told that as well when I went into it. Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, because one of my downfalls is time. Like, the amount of times that I have burnt dinners because I just go off into la la land, right? It's nice there. Oh shit, dinner.
Yeah, I can't leave the kitchen. My kids know that.
Yeah.
Like, I can go and grab something and come back.
Yeah.
But I cannot leave the kitchen when I'm cooking now.
Well, see, I can now.
Oh.
Put a timer on.
Oh, okay, good one. No, I don't. I just make sure that I've got plenty of stuff to do in that area whilst particularly if I'm baking. I don't bake that often, but particularly if I'm baking, I can go and grab something, but yeah. And so spiritual development, I'm feeling like it helps you get to know yourself really well.
It does. The good, the bad, the ugly. It is all in there, and we have to love all of it, or be friends with it at least.
Yeah. Have you found that through, because, you know, I know my clients sort of find this, they come, you know, when they come through the journey and they're, you know, becoming more self-aware and becoming self-responsible, there's a part of them that stops labeling things.
Yeah.
Because I don't necessarily label things good or bad anymore. Just if there's something, you know, it's just I don't know if I'm going to be like this forever, but right now this is what I'm like.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because good and bad, like who made that good or bad? And it's just about perception, and it's about, yeah, I hate.
Yeah, because the labels limit you.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. But it's just so rewarding though when they can actually, I have clients now that might say something and then they'll stop and they go, oh, but if I did X, Y, Z, or if I changed da da da. So because my goal for my clients is for them to not need me anymore. Like I don't want to be
Yeah,
with you forever. I mean, I
yeah,
love you and I'm there every step of the way and there to come back to and all that sort of stuff. But it's, again, that self-responsibility, but the awareness of them being able to go, oh, actually, no, I'm not going to engage in that because that's not my ultimate feeling and I'm going to go over here. Or that they have the absolute choice to manipulate their own reality.
yeah. Well, we do create. I agree. We create our own reality, and we can either get it heightened in stress and heightened in, like the overwhelm, or we can choose a different way, and maybe it's just having a different perspective
Yeah, absolutely. Because
on
there's
a
always more
situation.
than one perspective, isn't there?
I want to ask you about jewelry because the jewelry is amazing. I've bought pieces and I absolutely adore it. But I think there's some special things that you do with it. So how did that come about?
Oh, so it came about because obviously with lockdowns and everything, I was not able to see clients and I need something to do with my time. And crystals have always been a massive passion of mine. I used to import and export jewellery. I had this little niggle that I wanted to learn how to make it myself. And so there's a technique called Tiffany soft soldering technique.
Okay.
And good old YouTube helped me to learn how to do it. And so each piece, it just comes together in itself, and each piece has a little story. It has an intention. It has a purpose. And so they are little talismans. And I mean, even now, I've been guided to go back to more creating, so doing some more bigger household energetic talismans, for protection and abundance and sleep and all that sort of stuff. But crystals have always been a huge part of my work. Like I said, I've done crystal courses and all that sort of stuff as well, because their energy, everything, I mean, it's grade 9 science, everything has a vibration, right? So
Absolutely. Everything is energy, 100%.
everything is energy. And so colour and the way that they're made up, they're just, they're
Oh,
just,
look, I'm sold on it. Absolutely. And so how do you bring that into your sprays? Because you make up essential oil sprays as well.
I do. And they came about because of the healing work that I was doing. I just wanted to make sure that I was grounded. So I have a grounding spray. I have a spray that clears the room, so clears the energy
Yep.
in between clients. And I have a protection spray for, myself or the healer. And so they were sort of the three that developed first, and I was just using them for myself until a client sort of said, oh my God, what was that? And I would talk to them and they're like, oh my God, I really want some. I need some for the house, or I need some for, the car, or whatever. And so I actually found the original little bottles and labels that I did. I ended up doing a market, and they were handmade labels with little pictures on them, and it was very cute. And that just developed. And then obviously the more you speak to people and they go, oh my God, I just, so I have a self-love one, which obviously I think that was like the fourth in the range. The essential oils themselves just have beautiful qualities. Even the smell, if you don't, believe in the I don't know if I can say medicinal qualities.
Oh, they definitely are. I mean, there's science-based
Yes.
Like there is actual, like, it's all evidence, and it's, like they've been around for a lot longer than any other medicine, that we have currently today. So, yeah. I've been around them a lot. I mean, but if anyone says I don't use essential oils, I would ask you if you have eucalyptus or tea tree in your house.
I love
If you use Vicks, I mean, you are using a bastardized version, but if you use Vicks, then that is the basis. That's a stolen use of essential oil, because you're using eucalyptus in that. So
I know. Yeah. So that's kind of how it all developed. And then, as I said, you speak to clients and they're like, oh, I need something. My teenager's about to study for exams, or they've got exams. And so it's just kind of like, I mean, everything that I've kind of done it's begun with me.
Yeah.
And then it's just people have wanted to know how to do stuff. And so it's just morphed and changed and grown. There was not ever any point in my life where I sat down and I went, right, this is what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to do it.
I think I've only just gotten to that point in my life where I'm like, right, this is what I'm doing it. And now I'm going to be focused and actually be like, oh, now I'm, kind of flying by the seat of my pants, and I'm going to help and serve people and see where that leads.
I mean, even with, I wanted to learn kinesiology because I want it for myself. I want to experience it for myself. It'll come in my work. I'm not sure how, but I just trust that somehow it'll be a part of what I have to offer, and just make every session I have with clients, groups, individuals, just that more, deeper. And again, that's working with the divine bodies, the body's wisdom.
I'm studying at the moment too, and it's interesting because when I'm running circles or with a client, something will come up and I'll go, and I'm using what I'm learning, but I did it for my own, like,
exactly,
it's my own joy, it's my own, like, it's metaphysical studies. I'm just doing it for my own little passion, like, oh, I love it, I want to know more, and I get to do some, there's a whole heap of stuff, and I'm super surprised at how it's just organically, look, I think here's a client that needs to know about this, right?
Exactly. And it's so cool. And this is, when you trust those I'm being guided to go over here, just explore it. You might get through one or two classes and go, oh, actually, no, but
at least you're giving it.
Might need something from that one or two classes, and the rest didn't matter.
Oh, look, I've done courses over the years, and it was nothing to do with the course. I've literally never used that business course again, the information. Maybe a little bit, a tiny little bit. However, I got some relationships out of it that I met there.
Yeah.
And they've been really important to my life. So, like, I might look at that. It was never a waste of time, because the people I met through it, some of them are still friends. And this is like 6-7 years later, and I just think, wow, if I hadn't have done that shonky little course in that weekend, I wouldn't have met these people. So and we often say it to each other, we would not have crossed paths without that medium. Wouldn't have crossed paths. I love it.
To absolutely, this is where knowing yourself is trusting and just going with what you're guided to do, is because, sometimes you are guided down this specific path, like you said, not for the reason that you thought, but for several other different reasons. And so when we do the ultimate feeling goal, when you have something you want to achieve, or you have a goal in mind, or whatever it is, a focus point, that you add to it, or something even better.
Yes.
Because that opens everything up. So you're guided down here to learn, I don't know, taekwondo. You got no idea why. Sometimes we have to let go of the why and just go, okay, well, all right, I'm just going to trust that and do that. And there might be someone there that needs you, or you need them, or like you say, these beautiful relationships. Like, gotta, you know,
I love it because that's divine wisdom.
it is.
It's trusting
Yeah.
your inner guide.
Yeah. Yeah.
This has been beautiful. You're amazing. I have final 3 questions. Sorry?
We could just talk for hours.
I know. And you know, I'm still so incredibly grateful and filled up, and you know, I'm so abundant with amazing people in my life, and I love it because there's this little inner child in me that's still surprised. And you know, I keep rolling along, and then I just keep adding and going, oh, I can ask this person, and oh, I can talk to this person. And so I love it. Every conversation, I just feel incredibly blessed to have people in the circle of life that I'm in. So, you know, and absolutely, I've been doing this podcast for a while, and you're one of those people that I just went, oh my God, I haven't asked Emily. So, you know, all these people are in, I love it. All these amazing women, amazing men that are in my life that I just go, wow. It's pretty incredible. So I've got final 3 whats, 3 final what questions.
Okay.
First what? What is well-being to you?
Oh, what is well-being? Golly, golly, golly. For me, well-being is awareness of self and what is good for my being.
Oh, that's a good juicy answer. I love it. Because we often forget that we're a being. So what's good for our being?
Yeah.
Okay, so then what are your must-do daily well-being practices?
Must-do well-being. Gosh, because I'm Reiki trained, so the Reiki and Seichim, the Reiki has beautiful 5 principles, and the Seichim has a divine philosophy to it. And so it is remembering, for me, who I am and who I want to be. So reflection. Yeah. I'm not going to say stuff like meditation and that sort of stuff because as much as I love it, I don't do it every day.
Yeah, and look, I highly say people have meditation in your life, please.
Yeah. Oh, it's
if you've never done it, then I highly recommend doing it daily so that you can get into a practice of it. Some people don't need it every day. I definitely do. It's a wake up and I meditate. So then what
form of meditation is that self-reflection. It's going within.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love it. That's absolutely beautiful and so good for your being. Good for your whole being. So what impact does it have on your life, having well-being and having a well-being practice?
Because it allows me just to keep reflecting, keep checking in on myself. You know, I'm able to then, so the awareness, again, I'm able to go, am I stressed? Why am I unhappy? Why am I angry? Why do I feel overwhelmed? Why do I feel anxious? Blah, 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 blah. This check in to see, and then just to kind of nut out, so where in my life is this? So I use a holistic lifestyle audit that breaks down into your life so you can go, okay, is it social? Is it my physical? Is it my finances? Is it spiritual? Blah, blah, blah. So for me, because I am continually being a warrior of inner peace, my own inner peace, I have to be able to go, okay, where am I not feeling the peace?
Yeah.
And how can I adjust that? It's taking that self-responsibility. But then there are days where I go, I just want to be the victim and be sad and cry all day, and that's fine.
Yeah, I definitely have those moments
I'm
too.
human. And I allow myself that day. And I go, okay, put my big girl panties back on and get back into it.
Yeah, I go, all right, soul, let's check back in because ego's had enough time now.
Yeah. So because I want to feel peace. I want to feel at peace. And so if I'm, ravaged in my head, or I'm choosing to, get involved in drama outside of myself, then that's not bringing me inner peace.
Oh, I love it. That's so beautiful. So, how do we get in contact with you? How do people get in contact with you? There is going to be another frame where I'll do that again, but how would you like people to reach out to you?
So I'm on Facebook under All Things Divine. I do have
Beautiful.
a website. It's called All Things Divine, but you get it through the W's
Yeah.
emilypettigrew.com.au.
I'll share that. So stay with us and I'll share that one. Yeah.
I'm on Insta and stuff as well, but if you want, I think the main goodness of what I do and where I share is mainly on the Facebook page, and all my courses and everything online, how to work with me, is all on the website as well. So
Oh, beautiful. Well, thank you so much for sharing your beautiful time and energy. What a gift. I know that there's so much juicy stuff in there. And so definitely if you are looking for some spiritual and personal development, then, connect with Em. She's amazing. And thank you everyone for joining us today and for listening and for watching. It's been beautiful. And please like, share and comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback. And share it with those and go off and have a connected conversation yourself. Thanks again and enjoy the rest of your time.
Bye.
To connect with Emily, please head to emilypettigrew.com.au. To connect with me, head to emmamuir.com. Enjoy your day and thanks for sharing your time.